We got a 2007 Toyota Rav4, right? Customer complaint is that the vehicle is having difficulties to start up and have a bunch of codes and stuff like that. So let's get into it. We got a 2007 Rav4, like I mentioned earlier, right? So the customer said that this vehicle has been to various shops and it's been, getting really worse every time, right? And I believe they said that they was blaming the ECU, and they did some continuity tests from the mass airflow to whatever it was, right? And he got my number from someone else, so he brought the vehicle in and asked if I could diagnose it, right? All right, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna scan the vehicle and see if we have any fault codes. The check engine light is present, so so far it means the crank sensor is good, but let's check to see exactly what fault codes is present, right? I'm not sure if I gotta put a maintain on this vehicle as yet, but I don't want to touch anything. I just like to scan the vehicle and see what codes I can obtain. Right, I got 12.28 volts, so that should be sufficient for now. So let's scan and see what's good. This is a 4-wheel, right? We got smart key. All right, so let's press OK. Right, this has the 1AZ FE engine in it, so okay. Let's do a health report and let's see exactly how many codes or what codes it shows up. Wow, 52. All right, so we got 52 faults so far I'm seeing. All right, right, what I'm gonna do is make a report of this, right? And I'm gonna clear all those codes, and I'm gonna rescan the vehicle and see exactly what's good, because I'm not sure if the previous shop or the owner was had things unplugged. So we got a P010 cam position actuator, circuit open, heater circuit, mass airflow circuit, IAT circuit, pedal, TPS circuit. So we got a lot of circuit codes. So as I said, I'm gonna press report. I'm gonna save it, all right, just in case I need it later on. Right, so we're gonna skip that, save it, and next I'm going to just come out of there. I want to just clear all these fault codes because there's too many codes to try to figure out what is the problem. All right, so check engine light is still present and we don't have any fault codes so far what I'm seeing. All right, so let's make an attempt to start the vehicle and see what's good. Okay, so I tried to start the vehicle and it's giving me a hard start. The fan is running. Let's see what's going on again. All right, so it's starting and it's it's like it's cutting off. And if I step on the gas, it's making an attempt. All right, and they drove this vehicle across here, so I'm not sure exactly why it's not starting now. So when you step on the X, you ain't like you want to take off, but let's rescan this vehicle and see what we get. All right, so we got some more fault codes. Well, we got the same. It look like we may have the same fault codes again. And seeing that the fan is running, I assume that we have an open circuit somewhere on probably the temperature sensor or something like that. All right, so we got P0102 mass airflow circuit low. Right, you got P0118 engine coolant temperature sensor circuit high, which is obvious. I can tell by the fan being on at high speed. P0121 TPS circuit, P0122 TPS circuit low, P022 circuit low. We got P0748 pressure control solenoid A electrical P2135. We have a throttle issue, and we got a lot of like 4 codes concerning the circuit low, circuit high. So it's an electrical problem that we are chasing. And what we got the solar. Okay, so let's look under the hood and see exactly what's going on. Okay, so I removed the cover that belongs on top the top the valve cover. Basically this cover needs to be replaced. It saw some better days, but for some reason the fan is staying on, you dig, and why it's really loud, right? It sounds like if it, you're not getting a ground. This is the pressure sensor, and this one is the temperature sensor. It mentioned that it had a open circuit, so we gotta check to see exactly what's going on with that, or if it's just a ground that's missing, right? I mean, if you're getting all that circuit problems, you gotta definitely check the power and ground to see what's good, because the fan is constantly running, right? So it don't look like anything is unplugged, but I'm getting O2 sensor problem and stuff like that. So I got a video up with a similar issue with a Corolla that had a bad ground, or a harness ground, that was causing problems like this. It was basically a no start. But I want to put the key on and let you hear exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to put the ignition on. As soon as you put the ignition on, the fan is just loud. This comes on. So it's like it makes an open circuit. Right? And seeing that we have all these faults pertaining to electrical problem, like circuit low, circuit high, and stuff like that, is letting me know, you could be looking at a short or damaged harness or something like that. So circuit high temperature, circuit low performance. And I also saw that they worked on the harness here, and whatever they did here, right, they also moved the clip for the ECU. What is that? So all I did was shake this. Hold up. Alright, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. If you shake the harness here, the fan stopped. So let's see if the vehicle will start up since it cut off. Okay, let's see what's good. Check engine light is still on. And the vehicle did crank over, but it did not stop. Alright. I'm not getting no throttle response at all. So it's like whatever it is, it's basically taking out the throttle and like the mass airflow and whatever else, and also triggering the fan. So we can be looking at a harness issue. If I press this again, fan comes on. If I press it like this again, shake the other harness and see what's good. So every time I mess with this harness right here, the fan come on. So, alright, so seeing that the fan stopped, let's rescan and see what we get. If I'll be able to clear any codes and see what comes off. Kind of looking for any sort of direction on this vehicle, because it's just throwing a lot of codes, and it could simply be a harness problem. It could be ECU, I'm not sure. It looked like they were here already. Okay, they got some cut harness, they got some lack of the harness is just there. It could be basically shorting. So let's clear it. Shut up, bird. Okay, so since I cleared the code, I'm going to try to restart the vehicle. Nothing. I'm not getting anything. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this vehicle. So it definitely seems like they have a harness issue. If I shake it again. Okay. You hear the fan coming on every time I shake that harness. Okay, so let's open this up and see if we see anything. Let me get a blade. I gotta open this up. Okay, so I was able to, try to get the vehicle back up, and every time I touch the harness right here, that way you hear the fan coming in. I'm saying that I have 13 pending codes, 21, so we definitely have some issues when it comes to this ECU right here. Alright, I'm not sure if it's a break in the harness or what is it, or if it's in this jack right here. So now rock this, it comes up. Alright, let's take this off, this bracket, and let's take a look and see if any pins are bent or anything like that. Let me get my tools and take a look. It was not the upper bulkhead. This is the transmission side. It was this one that was acting up right here. So when you shake it like this, it was triggering the fan, because it's like they broke the clip. So it was doing this. So that's what it was doing. So you hear the fan speed change and get louder. Alright, so we definitely gotta do a better job and secure this. I gotta check to see if any pins are damaged. So let me take that off, and I'm gonna take the ignition off and take that ECU out and see if anything is damaged. And probably touching. So let me get that off. I got the ECU out. I'm not seeing any pins that's damaged or bent. No crusties. Alright, let's inspect the harness. I do see some, look like someone was prizing on these jacks right here. And the ECU side looks good as well. So as I said, they were here because they did this kind of crazy connection thing right here. And let's plug it back in and let's see if we could diagnose this vehicle and see what's good. Alright, so I'm gonna let the customer know he gotta replace his connector, right, as the vehicle is gonna be acting up. I'm gonna put the key back on. Alright, put the ignition on. And let's make sure. I don't think it really is a harness issue that we have here. And we're gonna basically clear all 4 codes if we can. Okay, we're going to make an attempt to start the vehicle and see what is going on. So, alright, so I believe that harness issue right there may have triggered the low voltage codes and stuff like that, but I gotta make sure. Alright, so the vehicle starts up. It's idling right now. So what I'm thinking is that the computer bulkhead basically is loose. The harness that's going to it is loose and causing the vehicle not to start. Again, a circuit cooled, and right, the check engine light is on, so and the vehicle is running right now. Okay, it is idling, so let's rescan and see what fault code come up. So we definitely gotta fix this issue right here that's causing the no start. Alright, so we got the heater circuit sensor 1, heater circuit sensor 2. We got a P102 mass airflow, P2716 pressure control solenoid D, which is in the transmission. We got and basically just keep repeating itself. So we're gonna do some checks at the fuse, right, and make sure all is well, because of late I've been getting vehicles in the shop with missing fuses and stuff like that, right? Actually, I just did a vehicle that customer by removing fuses. So let's run through the fuse box and make sure everything is good, right? So I got a 20 amp EFI main, right? So this EFI main will trigger on the EFI relay and power up what it needs to power up, right? Basically the brain box and stuff like that. We got the horn fuse, and we got the A/F, which is air fuel ratio. This is not here. It looks like it's manufactured, so I don't want to jump to conclusions. This vehicle did come driving, so I'm not expecting to see anything too crazy, right? But it was giving us a like a hard start just to get in the shop, right? And then we have a 30 amp here, which is the AM2. The 30 amp for this one is the like for music or something like that. And then we got a 15 amp, which is the IG2. We got a 10 amp for the hazard, 10 amp for the ETCS, and we got a 7.5 for the AM2-2. And I'm seeing that we're supposed to have a EFI number 1 fuse here. So let me see if I'm getting power coming to this fuse. Where's my tick? Real quick, let me get my back to it. Supposed to get power coming to this EFI right here. Okay, do I have to put the ignition on? Let's see. Alright, so with ignition on, I'm getting power coming off this fuse right here, right? I just barely touched it. I'm getting 13 volts coming off that fuse, right? So which is good, but it looks like the fuse is not there. I wonder why. It says that it must have an EFI here. Okay, so I just got my hands on the wiring diagram for this vehicle, all right, and I'm taking a look, and I believe we do have to have a fuse for the EFI number 1, right? Because from what I'm seeing here, the EFI main fuse supplies the relay power, and then that, when it's the ignition on, it sends power to that fuse. As you saw when I turned the key on, the fuse basically my light lit up, let me know that I got power here, and that's supposed to send power via this black wire to the per solenoid to power that up, and the mass airflow and the oxygen sensor 2 and the air fuel ratio sensor, up in the front right here, right? So what we need to do is check to see if we are getting power, on these black wires, because it seems like they're connected, and if the fuse is not there, that means it's an open circuit, right? So let's put the key on. So I got the key on, okay, and I'm gonna pick the easiest thing that I can get my hands on is the mass airflow. Alright, so let's unplug it, and as I said, I'm not expecting to see anything because the fuse is out, so I'm I'm not sure if the wiring diagram that I'm using is the correct one, but I'm getting 2.3 millivolts, which is nothing. Okay, so I definitely have a problem on that system, right? That circuit. So what we gotta do next is we gotta check to see exactly why that fuse is missing. I wanna talk to the customer and see what's good, right? Until then, let me see if I could get a fuse and put it in there and see what's good. Oh no. So I put a 10 amp fuse in the circuit and basically it popped. Right, so we definitely have a short somewhere in the circuit. I'm not sure why the fuse is missing, right? I did ask the customer if he replaced a fuse or removed a fuse, and he said, you know, he didn't do that. So, and the vehicle was driving, you know, and they started to have problems, and he took it to the nearest shop. So we gotta figure out, you know, exactly what that short is. So let me get my test light and let me figure out what's going on. So I just got my little jig what I used to find, you know, shorts. So I'm just gonna put it in place of where the fuse is supposed to be. Right, I'm using the right pin so it doesn't spread it. There you are. All right, so we're gonna put this in and let's take this ignition off. Yeah, so for some reason when I insert my test light, I saw some sparks. So I don't want to blow any of the fuse. So let me take out this 20 amp and replace it with my fuse buddy just in case. I don't want to blow the main fuse. Okay, so let me explain what I got set up here. Alright, so I got my test light in place of the fuse, and I removed the 20 amp EFI main fuse because I just replaced it with my fuse saver because I don't want it to, you know, blow when I'm doing my checks. So basically I'm just substituting the fuse so I can do my checks, right? What I can do is unplug, you know, all the sensors that's connected on that one strand of black wire, basically the power wire, and I can basically see if, you know, who is pulling the circuit down, or if I have a short, you know, from the ECU, then I can just do some checks with the key on, engine off, right? But I'm also watching my light, right? There's a little makeup thing I got here, and I can also check to see if I'm getting voltage on that black wire, right? So with the mass airflow unplugged, let's put the key on and let's check that pin number. Okay, so you see the light basically lit up. All right, so I'm going to check my power, my voltage on that pin, and if I see my test light lit up, that means I have power restored to, you know, this harness right here. No, right now I'm getting like 7 millivolts. Let's make sure this working. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is just disconnect the ECU. All right. The light is still lit, so I mean, if the light is still lit, let me know that the ECU is not, you know, at fault. I just gotta keep this away because it's gonna get hot real fast. I gotta move quickly. So let's disconnect the O2 sensor air fuel ratio. Right, the light's still lit, and let's unplug the one to the rear here. And it's still, you know, lit up. Let's take off the purge solenoid, and it's still, you know, lit up. So where is the short, man? All right, let's do one more check. Let's look on the black wire right here and let's see if we get 12 volts. No, I'm not getting 12 volts. Okay, so I believe I found my short, right? So with my test light hooked up on the fuse, right, I just replaced that just took that out so you don't blow my fuse, right? And let's see, by you looking at the meter, right? You're watching the test light. I'm just gonna shake this harness, and you see how I got my 12 volts restored. Yep. So I got my 12 volts restored, and this light is dropping out, and this one is coming on. So this let me know that the short is somewhere right here. Right? I was wiggling right here. I saw my light flicker. That's letting me know that the short is in this harness right here. And there you have it. So I got my voltage came back onto this, and basically I'm on the purge solenoid right here. So if I go to the pin 3 on the mass airflow, I expect to see light up as well. And that will be for the O2 sensor and the air fuel ratio sensor as well. Okay, so matter of fact, I'm just going to show it to you exactly. Where's the back? Alright, so I was able to find the short using just like, and you see right now, trying to see if I could get it. Hold on real quick. Right, so you see my test light came off, and my test light basically lit up, letting me know that the short is in this area right here. So, yep, let me switch the ignition off and take that apart and see if I can locate where the short is. Let me show you exactly where this break is. It's like it's right down in here. So every time I tug on this, you see the light coming off, right? So check it out. So every time I pull on this harness right here, basically I'm getting closer to the short. Back on this circuit right here, you see I'm lighting up. I'm getting 12.3. That's letting me know that, everything is getting power right now. If I go on pin 3 right here, I'm getting power. Okay, for the mass airflow. If I go on this pin right here, pin 2, I'm getting power going to the purge solenoid valve. So, I'm getting close to this short. It's kind of really fluidy down that hole, so I can't bring you to show you everything. Okay, so I was able to rectify the problem, right? So the short was down in here, and basically once I repaired it, you see I'm shaking the harness and the light is staying lit. Okay, so that's letting me know that everything is good. So we're gonna box everything up, and we do our checks and make sure everything is working before we contact the customer and let them know what's good. All right, so kind of down the hole, so I can't show you exactly where it's at, but it's in the harness. What happens after a while these vehicles tend to get older, you're gonna expect to have some short to ground and power issues due to the harness itself starting to get brittle. Okay, so I put everything back together. I did inform the customer that he needs to replace the harness for the ECU, and also he got some work to do on this vehicle, seeing that the harness is not really in a good shape. So let's go back in the vehicle, let's start the vehicle up and see if we could get rid of some of these codes that's here. Alright, so let's put ignition on. The check engine light is on. Alright, so let's do a rescan. I gotta connect up with my Bluetooth. Alright, and let's see what's good. We got some fault codes we gotta erase. I had things unplugged. All that 4-wheel drive stuff. We gotta discuss that with him if you want that to fix. But right now, his main focus was these fault codes with the ABS and stuff like that. Yeah, his main focus was the mass airflow and things like that. So let's clear these DTCs. Let's press yes. Alright, and we're gonna start the vehicle up and see if we can get that check light off. Right, so we have fault on the 4-wheel drive. Let's come out of there. Let's go into system selection, powertrain. Let's go into this. Okay, and we're gonna look at the data. So I want to see if mass airflow and the air fuel ratio sensors working. Okay, once I see that's working, then that's let me know that it's getting power. The math and sensor 2 and what's that, the purge. Alright, so those were the sensors that was having problems. And you see that I have the voltage, so let's start the vehicle up. Alright, we did shut off again, so let's go again and see. Alright, if you can recall, we did have some issues with the the bulkheads for the ECU, so let's try to just play with this and make sure that it's secure before we go forward. Alright, let's try again. You definitely gotta get that fixed, sir. Alright, so it started up, and let's see if our sensors is reading. I gotta check and see if the sensor 2 is plugged in, because I had it out. Let's check and see. Yep, sensor 2 is plugged in, so I just gotta make sure it's plugged in. Alright, let's come out here. Can we change our units? Let's scan the vehicle and see what's good. Okay, memory fold, press yes. Press OK. So we got mass airflow, circuit high still. Let's come out here. Going to do a full health report. Let's see if we can get throttle. Yes, we are. Okay. So we gain power to the units. Alright, so we got the 4 codes still on the mass airflow, right? The O2 sensor ones came off. Why do we have circuit high? Is it unplugged? Let's check and see. Like I said, they did some harness repairs, and I'm not sure if they did the right thing, but the O2 sensor is working now, and let's see. They basically butchered this repair. Okay, let's clear the 4 codes and see if the mass airflow comes off. Check engine light is still on. Alright, let's come out here. Let's do a full scan. Not sure exactly why every time you scan the vehicle, the car stumbles on itself. So let's see exactly what comes back up. Mass airflow, circuit high. Alright, so we gotta go back on the hood.